would like to ask everyone to think of all the women in your life. Your mothers, sisters, girlfriends, wives. Your aunts, cousins, nieces, and daughters. I would like you to think about the woman at the grocery store who scans your items, and the woman who makes your coffee at Starbucks every morning. I would also like you to think about your friends and your coworkers. Most of these women have something in common. Most, if not all of them, have experienced the repercussions of rape culture in America. According to RAINN, one of the largest anti-sexual violence organizations in the nation, 1 out of every 6 women in their life will be a victim of completed or attempted rape. However, that only accounts for the women who come forward and share their story. My name is Angelina, and today I will be talking about rape culture in America and how it not only affects our loved ones and the people we know, but it also affects us. In this speech, I will first define what rape culture is, and then I will describe what victim blaming is and how it contributes to rape culture. And finally, I will discuss how victims of rape culture suffer and how we can change that. I am very passionate about this topic because not only am I very educated and knowledgeable about the rape culture in America, and I also support the movement to help hinder it. I am a survivor of rape culture in America. To begin, I would like to define the term rape culture for you. According to the Oxford Dictionary, rape culture is defined as a society or environment whose prevailing social attitudes have the effect of normalizing or trivializing sexual assault and abuse. In society, we can see rape culture inflicted by misogynistic language, objectifying women's bodies, and romanticizing sexual violence. By allowing all of these things to happen, we are therefore jeopardizing women's rights to health and safety. We should be teaching men that it is not okay to disrespect women in a physical, sexual, or emotional way. We should not have to teach women how to prevent a rape from occurring because it isn't on us to do. Another thing that should be taken seriously is assault in the workplace. It is unfortunate that women are put in a position where they have to sleep with their boss if they want a raise or if they want that promotion. It is also unfortunate that if they don't sleep with their boss, then they can get fired, especially if they try and speak out about it. However, these are not the only things that contribute to the culture. For example, when a woman comes forward about her rape, it is very common that people make comments and judge her. They say things like, "Well, did you see what she was wearing? Look at the type of people she hangs out with. Maybe if she wasn't so promiscuous, this wouldn't have happened to her." This type of behavior is called victim blaming, and it is one of the top ways both men and women contribute to rape culture. Victim blaming is where the person believes that the victim should bear the blame of the assault rather than the attacker. In my own personal experience, when I was assaulted, my therapist blamed me because she felt that it was my fault for not putting myself in a safe situation, when in reality, it wasn't my fault at all. It is very common to try and tell women to dress differently and to hang out with the right group of people. But what if I told you that RAINN conducted a study and it showed that of all rapes, 59% were acquaintances, 34% were family members, and 7% were random people. This shows that it's the people closest to us that we should be worried about, and it completely contradicts what people say when they say, hang out with the right crowd, you're safe with your family. Another very common thing people say is you shouldn't drink too much. You're just asking for trouble. I saw a very interesting quote by Harvard that explains how messed up victim blaming is when it comes to alcohol. The quote goes as follows: "Victim blaming advice is to drink less. If it worked at all to lessen the threat violence for one individual merely displaces the violence. It is the equivalent of saying, you don't have to outrun the bear, you just have to outrun your slowest friend. It is essentially telling the potential victim to make sure the rapist rapes someone else. Victim blaming is a very hurtful thing to do to assault survivors, especially because after the incident, most women and men suffer from depression, flashbacks, and PTSD. In my very own personal journey, I suffered severely from depression and post-assault and was diagnosed with PTSD months later. Often, sexual violence can cause a lot more problems than most people think. Right off the bat, the victim can catch sexually transmitted diseases or become pregnant by the perpetrator. Other side effects include substance abuse, dissociation, panic attacks, eating disorders, sleeping disorders, and suicide, according to Rain. When it comes to sexual desires post-trauma, many people cope with it different ways. Some people become hypersexual and sleep with many people as a way to cope, whereas some people completely cut off any physical desires because of their trauma. In my personal situation, I had a hard time with physical interaction, even hugging people. Another side effect of rape and sexual assault is that the victim struggles with trust in their future partners, and it can be very hard for them to create pure connections with people. The best thing the victim can do is to open up and be honest to their partner and to communicate. The same also goes for their families. It will be very hard for them to process, but it will give them an insight to why you are acting the way you're acting. As for family of the victim, it is very important that you are supportive of the victim and make sure that they get the help they need. Therapy is a very helpful thing, but if the victim is not ready, do not push them. Make yourselves available as someone who they can rely on. With my own personal opinion, I would suggest letting the victim choose if they want to report and let them decide when the right time is. I reported my assault, and like most cases, it got dropped because there was a lack of evidence. It was a very long and tiring period of time right after my assault, and I had wished I had used those 6 months to heal rather than go through the court system. I hope this speech has helped people consider the consequences of their word and to also help people become more educated about rape culture and how rape culture includes and how victims are affected by the actions of others. I hope that you think about this when you say, I hope that you think about what you say and you'll be caring and understanding rather than rude and judgmental when people come out about their assaults. Let's stop rape culture and help end victim blaming and trauma. Thank you.